the Church of Scientology is so afraid of.
This is SPTV.
Welcome, everyone. I hope all of you out there in the SP Nation are having a fantastic Wednesday so far. Welcome back for more SPTV, where every day is one step closer to the total collapse of Scientology. Guys, let's talk today about a Rolling Stone article that just came out today, just this afternoon. Rolling Stone, how TikTok accidentally created a Scientology heartthrob. Now, I got to be honest, at first, I thought that the title was talking about William Good, Streets LA, Scientology audit. In fact, the headline does refer to Sebastian, one of the Sea Org members who works at Scientology's test center on Hollywood Boulevard. It's an interesting article. I'm going to take you guys through it in just a moment here, but let me just highlight some of the primary YouTube accounts. I say YouTube, even though some of these accounts are on TikTok, but it does seem to me that the guys who are doing their streaming on TikTok are hopefully all making the way over to YouTube. But let's see. Let me just show you some accounts, guys. Of course, this is William Good's channel, Scientology Audit, Streets LA. Subscribe to him if you're not already subscribed to him. Jessica Palmadessa is primarily about that TikTok life, but she did announce that she's migrating her stuff over to YouTube. So subscribe to Jessica. Chris Without a Hellcat is on TikTok and YouTube, but I'm recommending that you guys subscribe to his YouTube channel. We have Confident Chris. Subscribe to Confident Chris. We have Snazzy Yodo. His name is Sergio. And guys, a brand new account just started today. You're going to want to subscribe to this one. This is my local friend George, Clearwater George. Name of the account is Surrounded by Scientology. He and I are going to be doing some Scientology audit stuff here in Clearwater, Florida, starting this evening, folks. So that we'll stream that on my channel. We'll stream that on George's channel. We're having a great time, guys. Okay, let's see what Rolling Stone's interest was here, because they interview William and Jessica at length. Let's just go through some of this, guys. I think this is pretty exciting stuff. How TikTok accidentally created a Scientology heartthrob. A group of protesters is trying to end Scientology, but a social media obsession with one person could derail the movement. Wow, sounds like a treatment for a film. Okay, that's the Scientology organization on L. Ron Hubbard Way and Sunset Boulevard. His smile is the best, gushes a caption on a December 26th video of a young man with a physique. Wait, what? Yeah, okay. The physique of a lightweight boxer. Oh. I should have read the whole article. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to make it through a lot of this with a straight face, guys. Okay, Sebastian is a fine-looking fellow, and he's one of the Sea Org members who I'm not going to read all this word for word. He's one of the Sea Org members that works at the test center on Hollywood Boulevard. Scientology calls it its Life Improvement Center. Scientologists really just call it the test center. The man in the video, identified only as Sebastian, is a member of the Church of Scientology, a highly controversial religious organization that many critics have accused of being a cult. Okay, I guess the reporter didn't want to just call it a cult, but that's fine. To each his own. Okay, Sebastian is what is known in the community as a body router, typically a young, attractive staff member who is assigned to stand outside the Scientology Information Center, hand out literature, and invite passersby into the building to learn more about Scientology. Corinne Powell, an international spokesperson for the church, who, by the way, never goes in front of the camera or actually speaks in person, but only responds to written requests. An international spokesperson for the church did not respond to questions asking whether this is accurate. Over the past month, Sebastian has achieved TikTok heartthrob status. Ironically, anti-Scientology protesters are partially to blame. Guys, is it just me? Do journalists have to write in? Look, I'm not throwing any shade at this journalist. As far as I'm concerned, this journalist is probably someone William and Jessica, consider an ally. Actually, I should ask William and Jessica about that. But do they have to write in such a weird, controversial way? I guess they do. Okay, for the past few months, a grassroots movement of LA-based content creators have been attempting to disrupt foot traffic from tourists by protesting outside the center. Though Sebastian generally ignores the people who've gathered there, as many as 50 at a time, his movie star good looks have led to the creation of various fan accounts and the Free Sebastian hashtag based around videos of protesters attempting to engage him and convince him to leave the church. Corinne Powell denied our request to interview him. Oh my God, could you imagine if they let Sebastian sit down for an interview? Look at that smile. He has the best smile in the world. One protester can be heard saying to an uncomfortably grinning Sebastian in a compilation of footage from the protests, which has nearly 18 million views. "We love you, Sebastian," another protester says as he is seen walking away. "We just don't love the cult that you're in." Okay, we will skip the review of Scientology and what it is. Oh, this is interesting. Though Scientology has long attracted critics, the TikTokers are taking protests against the church to the next level, streaming live outside the Hollywood Boulevard location and tussling with cops on a nightly basis. You know, I object to the use of the word tussling. That makes it sound like a physical confrontation. Is it just me, guys? Isn't that what tussle means? What do I know, guys? Okay. Yet some former Scientologists and cult deprogramming experts question their tactics. Again, a needlessly controversial way of writing this article. But honestly, guys, maybe that's the only way editors will ever authorize a journalist to write an article. Like maybe they would say, what is there to write about if you're not going to make it seem controversial? I don't know. Maybe I'm just sensitive to it. Okay. Yet some Scientologists and cult deprogramming experts question their tactics. Even the protesters themselves have expressed concern that their activism is being hijacked by their followers' obsession with saving Sebastian. Because commenters are building a parasocial relationship with him, a term used to describe intense emotional investment in social media influencers. They worry it may be distracting from the goal of disrupting church recruitment and even be working against the movement. Quote, this is quoting Jessica Paul Medessa. Reminder, guys, you can subscribe to Jessica Paul Medessa right over here. And I have links to all of their accounts in the description down below. Sebastian is one of the best recruiters on the boulevard, says Jessica Paul Medessa, a content creator with more than 1 million followers, who says she has been protesting the center almost every night for the past 2 months. Sebastian is luring people into this cult every single day. So at the end of the day, we all know Sebastian is not going to be saved. We want to save others from Sebastian. Yeah, I think that's an interesting point. The Hollywood Boulevard protests were started by William Good, an LA-based activist who runs the LAPD watchdog page, Film the Police LA. Remember, guys, subscribe to William Good at the Scientology Audit YouTube channel. Guys, he's amassed over 150,000 subscribers from zero over the last 6 weeks. It's truly incredible. Good tells Rolling Stone his interest in the church was sparked by an altercation he had with a security guard outside the center last April. "I said, I'm going to end your religion," Good recalls, and he just kind of laughed at me. Good decided to start a TikTok account and a YouTube account that would live stream outside the center, bringing awareness to what he characterizes as the deceptive tactics Scientologists use to lure tourists into the church. And it's true, guys. They really do use deceptive tactics. Since then, William Good has been stationed outside, taunting staffers. I object to that characterization, and warning tourists by yelling at them, "Es una secta." It's a cult in Spanish. In some of the videos, Scientology staff members retaliate by launching ad hominem attacks at Good or at the other protesters. In one video, a Scientology staff member is seen taunting William Good for the death of his 22-year-old son, who was killed in a drive-by shooting in 2021. Wow. Falsely alleging that his son died in a gang war, saying that William Good should have been a better father. Jesus Christ. For the record, his son did not die in a gang war. His son was not a member of a gang. His son was not involved in that kind of life. In an email exchange with Rolling Stone, Corinne Powell referred to William Good as a dangerous individual who has a criminal record. And they even refer to something on his record from 30 years ago when he was 19. William Good may look about 35, but he is, in fact, 49 years old, ladies and gentlemen, as he told me yesterday in our interview. Jessica Paul Medessa characterizes the movement as an effort to spread awareness about Scientology and prevent tourists who are largely non-native English speakers from entering the building. Quote, "We're telling them about it before they hear from the recruiters the lies that they tell." But while Jessica Paul Medessa and William Good say the movement is intended to build awareness of Scientology's alleged transgressions, Even some of Scientology's critics argue it runs the risk of getting out of hand. They have expressed concern about some of the tactics used by the protesters, as well as some commenters focus on saving Sebastian. I can't help it. I just have to jump in here. I have in some of my videos commented that I'm sort of amused and I'm not going to lie, kind of a fan of the Save Sebastian narrative, only because I try to put myself in the shoes that I used to occupy when I was in Scientology. I feel like the Save Sebastian narrative is a really great way to troll the Sea Org members. It's kind of a way to flip the narrative where we're not attacking Sebastian, we're not attacking Scientology, we're trying to save him. I do admit that it's a false narrative. Sebastian doesn't need saving. He doesn't want saving. It's totally BS. But I'm just being honest. I enjoy the fake Save Sebastian narrative, but I sympathize with the people who would rather that narrative not be the narrative, and that it's somewhat distracting to what they're trying to do. And I do agree with that as well. Okay, let's see. The idea of citizens wanting to help someone in a cult is great. I'm worried on TikTok it's kind of clickbaity, says Steve Hassan, PhD, licensed mental health counselor specializing in cults, and the author of Combating Cult Mind Control. I'm worried about people using this poor person who is not asking to be an internet celebrity and invading his life. He refers to some of the tactics used by street protesters as disrespectful and counterproductive. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a big fan of Steve Hassan, especially his book, Combating Cult Mind Control, which I promote and mention on this channel all the time. I do worry that we're seeing a little bit of the get off my lawn phenomena of older generations not truly understanding what exactly is being done by the younger generations. I say this without throwing shade at Steve Hassan, but complaining that Scientology videos are clickbaity is a bit tone deaf for what the internet even is at this point, what YouTube is, what social media is, and what gets the most reach. And I think misses the point of the actual benefit of reach itself. But anyway, I mean, I could talk about that much longer, but I won't. Anyway, Steve, guys, anyone who has not read Steve Hassan's book, Combating Cult Mind Control, go get it now on Amazon or Audible. It's truly a phenomenal book. Okay, Corinne Powell has classified the campaign as promoting harassing religious workers who are trying to do their jobs. She characterizes it as part of the recent wave of anti-religious bigotry. Oh, shut up, Corinne. You are ridiculous. Claiming the center has had to ramp up security and has called police numerous times on protesters for trespassing and harassment. Yes. When Scientology isn't trying to compare, having protesters on their sidewalks to, the treatment of certain groups in World War II, they're busy trying to frame their enemies for crimes. I gotta calm down. Corinne Powell is a despicable individual. Okay. And let's be honest, Corinne Powell is one of the staff members in Scientology's Office of Special Affairs who has been actively involved in covering up crimes against women and children, covering up molestation, covering up rape. I mean, Corinne Powell is right up there with Corinne Powell. I'm almost 100% certain. I'm just trying to make sure I'm getting my names. Corinne, there's another relatively young woman in the Office of Special Affairs International who was directly involved in silencing Danny Masterson's rape victims. It wasn't. If you're watching my stream right now and you know who I'm talking about, please text me. It was Julian Schwartz, and there was one other person in the Office of Special Affairs who was very personally involved in silencing Danny Masterson's rape victims and covering up his crimes. And I feel like it might have been Corinne Powell, but it might not have been. I'm going to be keeping an eye on my text messages here. Okay. Let's see. Good and Paul Modessa deny that any of the protesters have resorted to physical intimidation or broken any laws during altercations with Scientology staff members, and that they stay outside of the building. Yep, that is completely true. The cops, quote, the cops have pretty much been there every single night for weeks, says Jessica Palmadessa. They come, they literally say they're doing nothing wrong. We can peacefully protest all we want, and they leave. We are not doing anything illegal. Now, what Jessica is saying there is demonstrably and objectively true. The evidence of the truth of what Jessica is saying is in all of the live streams that are occurring in real time outside the Scientology Center every night for the past 3 months. And yet Scientology is still so stupid and brazen that they will make just an objectively false statement that the TikTokers are breaking the laws and trespassing and all this kind of stuff. It's just so ridiculous. It's a clown show over there. Okay. Let's see. William Good also alleges that members of Scientology have followed him and used intimidation tactics, alleging in one police report filed in December that a security guard knocked his phone out of his hand while he was filming. The church denies that it has harassed or threatened anyone, saying it's made nearly a dozen police reports against the protesters, accusing them of making multiple violent threats, including a bomb threat on January 8th. Guys, you want to talk about fresh off the, fresh news straight off the press. It's January 10th. And today, right now, and this article is referring to a false accusation that Scientology made against the protesters just 2 days ago. I mean, that is fresh news. And the fact that Scientology would even include that in I guess in their quote, in their statement to Rolling Stone. And honestly, I got to be honest, the fact that Rolling Stone would even include that when it's provably false, just contact the LAPD. Just watch the freaking live streams. Scientology called the police and lied that someone had made some sort of a bomb threat. The LAPD showed up. The LAPD came and spoke to the Scientology people, and then the LAPD left the building laughing at the absurdity and the stupidity of Scientology constantly crying wolf against a bunch of young adults standing on the sidewalk outside of their test center live streaming on TikTok. It has gotten to a level of absurdity. But I got to tell you, it really pisses me off that Rolling Stone would even include that statement and make it seem like it's a he said, she said. Like, it's really stupid. I'm sorry. Legacy media just really disappoints me these days. I mean, sorry, journalists. I don't know. It's kind of bullshit. Okay. Let's see. William Good and Jessica Palmadessa strongly deny this. The LAPD did not immediately reply to multiple requests for comment. Okay. Could you just watch the, 20 compilations of the live streams that have been published and like do some actual journalisting, do some actual reporting? Like, it honestly, is it just me, guys? It's so irresponsible, so careless, so lazy. Okay. Scientology staff members have also taken to playing popular music on the radio, which William Good believes is a way for Scientology to prevent them from posting videos featuring potential copyright violations. Quote, they're so used to people being afraid of speaking out against them that now when we speak out against them, they go to extremes. Okay, let's see. Oh, Liz Gale gets a shout out here. On TikTok, the focus has largely been on one individual Scientologist, Sebastian, making some uncomfortable. Liz Gale, a former third-generation Scientologist and author of the memoir, Confessions of an Ex-Scientologist Pothead. Look at you, Liz, getting your book name dropped in Rolling Stone. Hell yeah. Says that while she appreciates that it is drawing attention to the allegations against Scientology, Sebastian's newfound fame is likely putting him in a very tough position within Scientology. Quote, whatever he does, it's going to reflect on Scientology. So they're going to put as much control on him as possible. Liz is concerned that senior Scientology officials could subject Sebastian to extensive auditing or interrogation as a result of the attention. Corinne Powell did not address specific questions about whether staff members such as Sebastian have been retaliated against internally as the result of their TikTok fame. We already know that some of these security guards, Sebastian's not a security guard, but some of the staff members at the center, particularly some of the Scientology security guards, have been subjected to discipline and reassignment. And I will editorialize myself and speculate that some of these guys are scrubbing some toilets and some dumpsters with some toothbrushes for basically messing up on the job they've been assigned to do. I just don't, I'm at a point in I've spent enough time, I've had enough time and distance from my time in the Sea Organization and Scientology that I got to be honest, I don't feel sorry for the Sea Org members. If anything, I feel like the Sea Org members are getting a taste of freedom by becoming internet celebrities. The attention might not be the type of positive attention you want, but I'll tell you what though, any one of those Sea Org members working at that test center or any of those security guards, if they left the Sea Org, if they left Scientology, and they started their own YouTube or TikTok accounts, I can tell you guys, they'd become instantly famous and well paid. YouTube, having a successful YouTube channel pays well. I actually have no idea how TikTok pays or how people make money on TikTok, but I'm under the impression there's a way for it to also pay well. So people can say, oh, these guys are being, subjected to harassment or whatever. No. What we're doing is showing them how they can make a very good living. If they left Scientology today, they'd be making a great living tomorrow. The Sea Organization would have those people believe that they'd be doomed. They'd never do. They'd be, Miss Scavenge likes to say you'll be stuck flipping burgers for the rest of your lives. It's weird for an organization, Scientology, the Sea Organization, who tells its members that it's composed of the most highly competent and intelligent people in this sector of the Galactic Federation. It's weird. They also want them to believe that if they ever left the Sea Organization, they would end up homeless and drug addicted on Hollywood Boulevard. Well, guys, all the Sea Org members pay attention. With no education, no training, no nothing, you can jump onto YouTube and TikTok and make good money instantly. Don't worry, guys. You're not going to end up homeless and drug addicted on Hollywood Boulevard, okay? All right, let's see. William Good has also attracted some criticism for mocking or harassing the recruiters in their content. I really object to the characterization that he's attracted criticism. The fact that all these staff members have cute little nicknames is part of the appeal. It's part of the appeal. It's what makes it fun to watch. You got Twilla, you got Lurch, you got Toucan, you got R2D2, you've got Dora. It's amazing. I mean, anyone would kill to have these sort of nicknames. These are their street names, their rap names. I mean, it's great stuff. Okay. Giving staffers various nicknames based on their physical attributes, such as R2D2 or Lurch. Yeah, Lurch is like 6'10". It's okay to call him Lurch. Actually, I don't know why R2D2 has that name. Is it because she's really short? Hassan says such tactics may lead to Scientology members becoming even more committed to the church than before. Quote, the more people attack you, the more it confirms your programming that the outside world is ignorant and evil. People will not leave a mind control cult because they are ridiculed and attacked. What Steve Hassan's saying there is objectively true, but it also misses the point. I think that's not the point of that's not the point of the activism. The point of the activism is to keep those members from being able to trick new unsuspecting people on the street from coming in and getting introduced to Scientology. So it's one of these things where, you know what's possible? It's possible that Steve Hassan was simply asked a question and gave an honest answer, but didn't actually understand how his quote was going to be framed in the interview to make it seem like, you guys know what I mean? Like his quote was used selectively in the article. That's what I choose to believe occurred here. But Jessica Palmadessa says that argument is missing the point. Oh, look, I guess I just beat Jessica to the punch here, or she beat me to the punch. The protests aren't about saving the recruiters. This is about spreading awareness to the general public and stopping people on the street from being in the same position. Indeed, though Sebastian's unlikely stardom has undeniably drawn attention to the protests, both Palmadessa and Good expressed discomfort with the fact that there has been so much focus on him and the supposed details of his life. As commenters trade rumors about Sebastian, Good is concerned that the intensity of the narratives swirling around Sebastian could detract from the movement. Guys, I don't want to read the entire rest of the article because I'm running a little short on time here. I remember really liking how this article ended, though. So let me see here. Let's see. Okay. In many ways, the TikTok anti-Scientology movement is remarkably well-timed. In the midst of a high-profile lawsuit filed by former member Leah Remini, as well as allegations of harassing women who accused Danny Masterson of rape, Scientology is currently undergoing one of the most tumultuous periods in its history. Danny Masterson was convicted on 2 rape charges in May and sentenced to 30 years to life in prison. Scientology has strongly denied harassing Danny Masterson's accusers, calling such claims totally false. All right. They are really hurting for recruits. This is a quote from, Steve Hassan. They are really hurting for recruits desperately because the public has been taught about this group with books, former members, and lawsuits. Now the objective of the TikTok protesters is to hurt Scientology even more. Jessica Palmadessa wants to continue the movement at centers across Los Angeles, advocating to local and national politicians for Scientology's tax-exempt status to be revoked. The protesters also want to expand the movement to other centers across the country as a way of permanently disabling Scientology's ability to attract new members. Okay. Let's see. As for the fate of members like Sebastian, William Good and Jessica Palmadessa say that it is ultimately secondary to the greater goal. These are grown people. They all make choices, says William Good. My goal is not to have confident salespeople. My goal is to have demoralized salespeople. I want them to become less effective, and I am willing to sacrifice. And I'm not willing to sacrifice the next family that may come into the center just because I'm worried about Sebastian and what may or may not happen to him. Jessica Palmadessa agrees. They're definitely victims, she says, but they can't just keep making more people victims. Excellent, excellent way to end the thing. For anyone just joining the stream, some accounts that you really want to subscribe to on YouTube and check out. You got Scientology Audit Streets LA. You got Jessica Palmadessa. You have Chris Without a Hellcat. You have Confident Chris. You have Serge. His handle is Snazzy Yodo. And brand new account created today, you guys, Surrounded by Scientology. That's my friend George here in Clearwater. Just like Jessica and William said that they want to expand this movement to other cities around the country. You guys know I've been really considering flying out to LA and helping them do what they do out there. And it occurred to me last night, what the hell am I thinking? What am I thinking? I got the biggest Scientology organization in the world 5 minutes from my door in downtown Clearwater. If I'm going to consider flying out to LA to have fun helping those guys do what they do, why the hell wouldn't I go 5 minutes down the road and do some of this myself, get some of this started here right in Clearwater? So that's what we're doing tonight, you guys, with my friend Clearwater George of the Surrounded by Scientology channel and some other friends that'll be joining me down there. So stay tuned, guys. Guys, hit that like button if you haven't already. It actually does help. Hit that subscribe button. Go subscribe to all my friends' channels I just told you about. All the channels that I just showed you, I have actually linked to in the description down below. And as I get more and more familiar with the other channels that are doing this, because there really is like 15 or 20 channels doing this right now, I will just regularly link to all of them in the description, you guys. All right, let's see here. Seniors with Inquiring Minds. That is an incredible handle there. Thank you for the super chat. Seniors. Arlene Potash, ex-Scientology kids shouting truth unarms the Sea Org members. Like a misunderstood word, it manifests feelings of confusion, dizziness, disassociation, and nervous hysteria. Excellent observation there, Arlene. Thank you for that. Maria, thank you for that. Jeffrey Augustine in the chat, Scientology Money Project. Some OG, that's the OG, like Scientology critics, do not understand the test center phenomena or the power. I support it. By the way, rest in peace to Sean Lonsdale, who filmed Scientology Clearwater in 2008 era and put it on YouTube. Well, there you go. Fantastic. Arlene Potash, if bomb threat, why didn't they evacuate the building? I know it's so silly. There was never a bomb threat. Okay, Spirited Dragonfly. Are there any Scientology buildings or etc. in Montana? Montana has been marked safe from any Scientology organizations. There is no Scientology in Montana. Praise Xenu. RNLC for moms and babes. Okay. Question. Do you think Scientology will target the TikTok crew for fair game? Or was that the purpose of the bomb threat? Oh, yes. Anyone who participates in this sort of activism, and I encourage anyone and everyone to do so, should be prepared for fair game tactics. They should be prepared for Scientology to find out exactly who they are, if they haven't already made that clear on their own social media profiles. They should be prepared for Scientology to dig into their backgrounds, look for anything salacious that they can use to embarrass them or to threaten them or to try to blackmail them and to stop doing what they're doing. And honestly, Scientology will stop at nothing to figure out how to stop this phenomenon, because this phenomenon is bringing Scientology to a dead stop. I mean, Scientology is already contracting, but when you have contraction, what you have is some gain and some loss, and you have a net loss. But you do have Scientology making some gains in attracting new members. They're losing members faster than they're attracting new members, but they do succeed in attracting a small amount of new members. What this phenomenon is doing is bringing Scientology's effort or their ability to attract new members to a grinding halt. And that does pose an existential threat for Scientology. It really does. And Scientology will stop at nothing. So part of what's so great about how William and Jessica and crew are going about doing what they're doing is it's so in your face and insouciant. Insouciant is a word a Scientologists like to use. That's where I learned the word. Scientologists are, they're so in your face and insouciant about what you're doing. It's the message they're sending is among many. There's nothing to be afraid of here. Like anything Scientology tries to do to you, you can just flip it and reverse it, turn it back on them, and just throw it right back at them. So anyway, I could go on and on and on. For the sake of brevity, I will not. But guys, stay tuned. Right now it's 4 p.m. Eastern. Stay tuned for some live Scientology audit content in downtown Clearwater, Florida, sometime in about the next couple hours. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me this afternoon. Thank you, as always, to everyone who watches until the very end, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside